Hey guys, welcome to Notorious Women Podcast. I'm Lavetta.
And I'm Miriam.
And this is Notorious Women, a comedy podcast about some of history's most notorious women.
Woo, woo. And that only took us like 3 times to do the opening. Yay.
We're professional. Okay.
Listen, girl, I think the kids are like profesh. Like we don't say professional anymore. Like don't finish the word. Okay.
It's profesh.
We're profesh. Totally.
Fresh. Okay.
Cool.
Why do I go into the Valley Girl or what I think is a Valley Girl?
Listen.
Like, was basically clueless.
I was just thinking the same thing. I'm like, the kids say profesh, but I'm saying it like it's 1992.
Yeah, like as if you guys have never seen Clueless, you got to check it out.
It holds up. It might be a little problematic in certain areas that I don't remember, but I really think that it is really a beautiful story about rich people.
What's Emma, right? So it's basically Emma.
Yeah.
Like, so it's Emma. It's a version of Emma, just like 10 Things I Hate About You is Taming of the Shrew. You know, Easy
nerds.
A. I know we're such nerds, but I mean, that's why we have this podcast, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Bring you these wonderful stories. I guess we should get started. I believe you're first this week, darling.
Am I? I have no. Okay.
Yes.
I really don't know where I am in the time-space continuum as a general rule. So
okay, go Star Trek reference. Okay. This is why we're friends.
I know Lavetta's love language, and that is her love language.
I love Star Trek. Next Generation. I'm like, I like all the iterations of Star Trek. Even the original, which has terrible special effects, man. You're just like, but the spirit of Star Trek is in the original. So
I mean that you're a true Trekkie. I am not. I love Next Generation, but like when that was done, I was like, I'm good. And you've watched everything.
Oh, you got Deep Space Nine, you got Voyager. Come on, I haven't gotten into the newer ones. I will admit, because it's behind a paywall on Paramount Plus, and I struggle with if I want to pay it. But I did watch Picard.
Of course you did.
Yeah. Patrick Stewart, Captain Picard is the man. This is why I don't have a thing against bald men, because when I was growing up and I saw Captain Picard, I was like, oh my God, he's so gorgeous and he's so wonderful and he's so great. He can still get it. He may not want it, but he can still get it.
Listen,
he's my old man crush.
I will tell you this. He is also an anti-racist feminist. I love him. Like,
exactly.
This man, I mean, I'm married. I'm happily married, so I would not let him touch me. But were I not happily married, all I'm saying, but I'm happily married. Cool.
That is what Trekkies are, because we are peace, kind, loving, inclusive people. The fact that they took these QAnon nuts took Q from Star Trek is baffling to me.
Wait,
but that's a whole nother story.
Listen, I didn't know that. Wow.
Because it makes no sense. I'm like, have these people ever watched Star Trek? Like
no, probably.
I mean, have they ever, like, you cannot be a Trekkie and be hateful. Like, that's an oxymoron. Like,
it wouldn't work. You got nothing out of it, if you did that. You know what I'm saying? It's
all like, they obviously never watched the show, or any of the iterations of Star Trek, because that is not what it's about. So
that's how I'm feeling about Quantum Leap, because, okay, I keep talking about it and I guess I'm not going to stop. So, I started rewatching some old ones too, because I have a problem, and that's fine. I admit it. It's not a problem, but I'm not going to stop. Because the new one came out, and the new one feels like, oh my God, it's very progressive, and there's just such beautiful characters, and it's complicated and amazing. And then I was like, actually, it's kind of always been this way. Like for the 90s,
anything that's science-based is usually progressive. And so that's why, because why is he traveling? He gets thrown into other people's bodies, right? In their lives.
Yes, to change history for the better. His only guide in this journey is Al, an observer from his own... I'll stop myself. Okay.
He physically has to walk in other people's shoes. Of course it's progressive.
I mean,
what do
right? But
like,
it's interesting the difference between the 90s and now, because I remember the episode where you're like, oh my God, he's in a woman's body. And it was very exciting because next week, he's going to be a woman. And everyone's like freaking out about it. And then you see it and it's like hilarious. So this time around, sometimes he leaps into a woman, sometimes he leaps into a man. It's not even talked about. Nobody cares. He's there to solve a problem.
Yeah, well, that's impressive, and that's also promising that that at least the creators behind it is like, yeah, it's not a big deal. Like, we are beyond, like, that was novel, right? Or interesting or surprising in the 90s, but no longer. It's like, yeah.
And it makes you realize, like, oh, in the 90s, that was maybe like a little problematic. But their point,
well, probably the way they handled it was problematic.
But their point in the 90s even was that, like, oh yeah, it does suck to be treated like that as a woman. Like, it was like, dear cisgendered white men, this is not comfortable for women. Can you stop? Like, they were doing kind of a PSA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
for an after school special. They used to have those kids.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, the more you know, you know.
Well, on that note, who's your notorious woman you want to share with me this week?
Okay. So my notorious woman is one suggested by one of our listeners.
Oh.
I'm so excited. Mabel Weber Snow has suggested this. So
thank you, Mabel.
Thank you so much. So she recommended this woman, and listen, I am so grateful for this woman. I've never heard of her. And I got so much to say. So her name is Lucille. She was born Lucille Anderson.
Okay.
But you may know her as Lucille Bogan. Or you may not know her at all.
Okay. Lucille Anderson, but Lucille Bogan. I might know her. Nope. Doesn't.
Okay. So she is the daughter of Gussie and Wiley Anderson. So, you know.
I mean, hold up. Gussie?
You heard
and
me.
Wiley?
Yep. And they married.
That is an old school.
Yes, it is.
Are these Southern people?
Yes, they are.
Gussie, okay. Gussie and Wiley. Because that's how they say it. Like, they didn't say Gussie and Wiley. They say Gussie and Wiley. Okay. That is how their names were pronounced. Okay. I'm sorry. It's like Loretta. We don't say Loretta. We say Loretta in the
Loretta.
South.
Oh, really?
Loretta.
I did not know that.
All right, Loretta. Yeah. It's like, my name's Loretta. No, it's Loretta. Like, yeah.
I did not name you that. I named you Loretta. Got it. Okay. So what's fun about the South in the early 1900s, and if you were Black, is they didn't keep the greatest records. Surprise? No, not surprising. So
even through the 1980s and 90s, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no one gives a
Probably
shit. It's
today.
a problem.
In Florida, they definitely fucking up government documents, misspelling because it's Florida.
Yeah, that's probably right. She can say that she's from Florida, but also we can all say that right now about Florida. Florida, yeah. Florida's fucked up, I'll say. I have dear friends who live there, and they're like, this is fucked up. So, you know.
And then they wonder why people make fun of us. It's like, stop Floridering. Stop being Florida. Floridering.
Floridering.
Yep.
Lavetta, you gotta patent that. That's brilliant.
Florida's got a Florida. Florida stop Floridering.
Florida stop Floridering. Because then you just get right to the point. That's like so many things just checked off, right?
Yeah.
Because they have so many problems. Okay.
Ugh.
All right. So she was born possibly in Armory, Mississippi in 1897, or according to an entry in the 1900 census, her birthplace was Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh.
Listen, nobody cared. It's very sad.
Well, that's why you could do cons back in the day, too.
Right.
Just moved around.
Mm-hmm. Can't find her record. That's because you never wrote it down. Should have written it down, huh? Oh, well.
That's right.
But I'm going to guess that it was 1897 only because in 1914 she married Nazareth Lee Bogan, who was a railwayman and gave birth to a son, Nazareth Jr., in 1915, 1916. So she divorced him, but kept the name Bogan, and later married a man named James Spencer. So she was a singer. She was a singer. So another singer. We like singers here.
Yes.
She first recorded vaudeville records for OK Records, OKEH. I don't know how to say that correctly. Okay, I think it's okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's probably okay.
It feels right?
Yeah.
In New York in 1923 with pianist Henry Callens. Later that year, she recorded Pawn Shop Blues in Atlanta, Georgia. And this was the first time, we have so much first time with Black musicians in the early 1900s on this podcast. You're welcome.
You know why? Because most of popular music, American music, comes from the colored folks, from us.
That's the thing. I think it's so important. Let's talk about every single one of them because people talk about like, I have a culture and I'm American and like your culture is based, basically from slavery, right? Like that's you, dude. So like you can't put it aside because that is your like not your people, but like that is where you come from. Like let's honor that and stop giving that credit to the wrong people.
Yeah.
How do we feel about it? A lot. We feel a lot. All right. So it was the first time a Black blues singer had recorded outside of New York or Chicago. So in 1927, she began recording for Paramount Records in Grafton, Wisconsin. And she recorded her first big success, which was Sweet Petunia. And a lot of people covered her stuff. Blind Blake is one. Look him up. He's cool. I like him. Never heard of him till I started researching this. And then she recorded for Brunswick Records as well. So in 1930, her songs started to tend toward the drinking and the sex. What?
Oh,
what?
My kind of lady. So she was the original Megan Thee Stallion, huh?
Girl, the OG. Let me tell you, although Megan Thee Stallion has nothing on her. Oh my God. Yes. Her song, ready? Sloppy Drunk Blues.
Sloppy Drunk Blues. Just get to the point. This is what you're buying.
Don't beat around that bush, girl. You tell me what you're going to sing. That's right. It was written and recorded by her, but it was released first by Leroy Carr in 1930. But then she recorded it as well. But she wrote it and she recorded it. It just wasn't released yet. You know, she's a woman. It's problematic. Another one of her songs, I love the title of, ready? Tricks Ain't Walking No More. Yeah, because she also talked about prostitution. Yes, she did.
Well,
yes, she did.
Listen, oldest profession.
It is the oldest profession. Let's talk about it. It's like our period. You know what I mean? Like, it's the oldest profession. It's still around. It's rampant. Let's talk about it. Let's legalize it. I said it. I'll say it again. Let's legalize it. Okay. I don't know. Make your money. I don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not looking into it. I think that ship has probably sailed anyways, but like, you know, like you should be able to make your money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's safer, right? You can test,
protect the workers.
She also recorded an original version of Black Angel Blues, which was covered by B.B. King as Sweet Little Angel.
Oh.
Later, I thought that was interesting. Like, we know B.B. King, we should know her. Okay, so with her experience in some of the rowdier juke joints of the 1920s, and I got, by the way, my sources are like Wikipedia, allmusic.com, and thegumbo.net. She wrote most of the songs herself, and they're mostly about sex and prostitution and alcohol. More songs she sang were Groceries on the Shelf, Piggly Wiggly. And, you know, Piggly Wiggly is Southern.
I'm very familiar. Yeah. No, go ahead. Tell them. Like,
It's a southern supermarket, basically.
Yeah.
And I learned about it from Driving Miss Daisy. That's how I learned about it.
Oh, really?
I was like, why is this old white lady keep talking about the Piggly Wiggly?
I was raised with, it's so weird when you're raised with stuff, you don't realize that it's like foreign to other people till you leave. Like, yeah, Piggly Wiggly. Okay, folks, for modern context, if you think Walmart is ratchet, Piggly Wiggly is a whole nother level. Okay. That's a whole nother level.
I did not know that.
Piggly Wiggly. Because you know how they say Target is for people who got sense, right? And then you have Walmart.
Yeah.
And then you got the Piggly Wiggly.
That's how I do it. I go to Target. I go to Target. But when they don't have it, I go to Walmart. And then I get mad because Walmart messes it up. Listen, don't sue me. Okay. But y'all, like, if you say you have the shoes, send me the shoes. I've given you my money and told you where to go. Why is it a problem? I'm really complaining about something that's very personal and recent. Okay. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it.
But if you were trying to get it from the Piggly Wiggly, I don't know if we have to say that allegedly, because please don't sue us. I don't even know if Piggly Wigglies are still around. They probably are.
Probably.
Yeah, I think they're like dollar stores or like outside of the South. They don't have like oh God, what's the dollar store we used to have? They have like Dollar General, like depending on which state you're in. And
I know Dollar General.
99-cent store.
Yeah.
And, I think Family Dollar is the
I have
one
a question. Why is everything in the 99-cent store $8.99? I'm curious. Because it says 99 cents outside the store, but then you walk in and everything is $8.99.
Well, it's got 99 in the price.
That's not helping me.
It's right there in the price, lady.
I mean, because then I'm like, I might as well go to Target. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know. Target is so bougie. I feel so bougie when I'm walking around Target.
I do too, but I think we're wrong about that. Yeah. Like, I think it's not a bougie place, but we feel bougie because you're look.
I think of those kinds of places, it's the bougiest. Like, it's like.
It's true. It is true.
It's like Nordstrom and Nordstrom's Rack.
Yeah, there you go.
Right?
Listen, Nordstrom's Rack is bougie for me personally.
Yeah, I agree with you. Listen, everybody likes a good deal on designer sunglasses. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So,
but I mean, we could go on about this for a little too long, so I'll keep going because I was going to talk about cults also. But let's move on. You have to have people there to help you because if you need the thing open for your kid to look anyways, you know what? I'm not going to go there. It was fine. I found it at Target later. Okay. So, all right. Lavetta, have you heard of an artist named Bessie Jackson?
Bessie Jackson, no.
Because she changed her name to Bessie Jackson in 1933. What?
Oh.
Yeah. I was going to if you had heard of her, I was going to be like, psych, it's her. But you don't
Well,
know her.
Bessie Jackson does sound more like a down and dirty juke joint singing, raunchy singer. That sounds more like than Bogle. Was it Bogle? Bogan?
Bogan.
Bogan sounds a little bit more like respectable, but
secretary.
Bessie Jackson, yeah, she definitely singing about coochie. Okay.
You're right. You're totally right. She did it to conceal her identity. And she went to New York in 1933, changed it to conceal her identity. And she worked for, she recorded for the banner label of ARC, A-R-C. Okay. So a lot of times around this time, I guess, artists would change their names to get around pre-existing recording contracts. So of course, which is actually brilliant. I think that's genius because mostly recording contracts are there to abuse and use. So get your money.
The artist, yeah, definitely.
But she was like, nah, I'm going to be Bessie Jackson so that nobody knows that I'm doing this, which is brilliant. And then her persona really emerged. This was around the time she started working with a pianist named Walter Rowland. They recorded over 100 songs together between 1933 and 1935. That is insane.
That's
That
like
is a
Tupac.
lot.
We thought Tupac was recording like,
Right.
oh my Lord.
And that, some of her commercial successes were Seaboard Blues, Troubled Mind, Superstitious Blues. It was said that their connection and their musical combination, the two of them were perfect together. He sensed what she wanted, she sensed what he wanted, and it was like a beautiful thing.
That is a beautiful thing as a creative to find somebody like that.
Right. So her final recordings, it says here with Roland and Josh White, which I probably like skipped some things because I don't really know who they are. But they feel like men, so I'm not concerned. So
They feel like white men too.
right. And that's why I'm like Josh White, like it's in the title. Like, I don't care. Sorry to like people like my husband and stuff, but whatever. Include 2 takes of the song Shave 'Em Dry, which was recorded on Tuesday, March 5th, 1935. The uncensored alternate take is notorious for its explicit sexual references, a unique record of the lyrics sung in after-hours adult clubs. According to Keith Briggs' liner notes for Document Records Complete Recordings, these were recorded either for the fun of the recording engineers or for clandestine distribution as a party record. Girl, it was dirty. Dirty.
I told you. That's the reason she changed. Bessie Jackson is definitely singing about coochie. Okay.
Let me tell you what else she's singing about. Her song BD Woman's Blues takes the position of a bull dyke, BD, with the lyrics. I'm going to give you some lyrics. Ready? Coming a time, BD women, they ain't gonna need no men. I'm gonna keep going. They got a head like a sweet angel and they walk just like a natural man. I'm gonna keep going. They can lay their jive just like a natural man. Like, listen, she's talking about lesbians.
Was she queer? Yeah, was she queer, I wonder?
Listen, here's what I think and what I hope is she was probably having great sex. And that makes me so happy. Like, she was having so much great sex that she had to sing about it. And
because it sounds like she's singing from personal experience. Because Bessie was getting it in.
Yup.
Get it, like, girl.
Listen, which I think is hilarious because, like, okay, I'm going to go there. And I know it's very triggering, but like, we were like, make America great again. Okay. Were we trying to get back to the time when the blues clubs were celebrating Black women that embraced their sexuality and their queerness? I mean, is that what you were talking about?
No.
I mean, because this was in the 1930s. So if you're trying to pretend that like we were bad, we were good, and now we're bad, like fuck off. Why did I say that?
No, that's the thing. Back then, they were more like accepting in the 30s, and then we had the war. No, when they say make so and so great again, they want to get back to the 50s.
They want to get back to the 50s, but and like Jim Crow and like
Jim Crow right after the war. So there was an economic boom in America. White men were at the top of the food chain.
Yep.
And everybody knew their place, quote unquote. That's where they don't want to get back to the 30s, the 20s and the 30s, because the 20s and the 30s.
You got to stop pretending that humanity was like perfect. Like you got to stop because they know
it's not perfect.
You know what happened after the 50s? The 60s. Okay.
You know what happened? Started to really rear its ugly head in the 50s and the 60s? Civil rights.
Oh.
Coinky-dink.
So I'm just saying, stop, like, just like rephrase because I know what you're saying. So you got to find another way of saying.
No, we know what they're saying. Did you hear Bryan Cranston? Did you see that?
No. Tell me everything.
Oh, yeah. He basically... He explained it in white speak.
Oh,
he explained it so white people could understand.
That's good. We need PSAs. Go.
Because when he said it, Black people were like, yeah. Because he was like, let's. Basically, he was like, well, let's break down that phrase, make America great. When was America great?
Yeah.
The 30s, the 40s, the 50s, da da da. And he's like, now, when was America great for Black people?
I can't find the decade. I'm looking.
Exactly. So he's like, so when you say that, you're not including them and they know it. And it's like, yeah, Brian. Yeah. It's
so
dog
true.
whistling at its highest. Like, we know what it was.
But it's just so, like, to me, it's just so obvious. But I don't know. Isn't it just so obvious
to some people? No, because, well, I think you want to believe that deep down, most people are good.
I do want to believe that. But it's really hard to these days.
But like the great James Baldwin said, what did he say? What's that quote? I might get it wrong. I can't believe what you say because I see what you do.
That's good. Yeah.
So
yeah.
You're saying make America great, but then you're saying keep the rapists in Mexico, shithole countries, da. We know what you mean, motherfucker.
Yeah.
We know what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't fooling nobody. And inviting one rich black man to the White House. Okay. That don't mean you don't not like black people. Come on, motherfucker. We see you. We see you.
That's really not how it works, but nice try.
Yeah.
Not even nice try. Terrible try. Anyways.
Yeah, but back to Bessie and singing about getting her back blown out. So,
here's the thing.
Good for her.
Yes. I was going to like write down more lyrics. Okay. And you know that I do curse. I mean, I just did curse and I'm going to curse again later probably. But I cannot in good conscience tell you those, girl, it's like, I'm going to give you like a little, she's like, I want to fuck you, fuck me, fuck all. Like she just was so dirty. Like I can't, like I'm blushing right now. I'm embarrassed. It was like she went there and I love her for it. And people loved her for it. I would like to read a quote that I got from gumbo.net. And the title of the article is called Lucille Bogan's Dirty Revolution. I love the title, so I had to share it. It says, a laughable amount of articles were published following the release of WAP, the Cardi B helmed anthem featuring Megan Thee Stallion. Political pundits recoiled in conservative shock and disbelief at the way these two women rappers proclaimed their arousal. Former congressional candidate Deanna Lorraine tweeted that the song was, quote, disgusting and, quote, vile, while GOP candidate James P. Bradley wrote Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion are what happens when children are raised without God and without a strong father figure. Okay, so here's the thing. They're not even that. If you look at the lyrics of WAP versus the lyrics of what Lucille did or Bessie Jackson, wow, it like they ain't not nothing on her.
No, not to mention Millie Jackson. That's what I was saying. There's like a very like popular, I think Millie's from the 70s and the 80s, I think. She was singing about all that stuff as well. And throughout history, obviously, I mean, Mae West was, she kind of hit it in double entendres.
But she was double entendreing.
It was nasty.
It was not.
As they would say back then, nasty. Nasty.
But also, like, I'll go on with that quote. This is the personal offense that listeners took to the song was comical, but also deeply insidious policing of Black women and their right to assert pleasure, revel in expressing desire, and declare that sex is a regular part of their everyday lives.
And also to say that women talk about sex and have sexual agency means that they didn't have strong father figures.
What the fuck is that?
If anything, is the opposite, right? So there's the joke about, daddy issues. You're in a strip club and it's like those women are usually, if you have daddy issues, you're not having great sex. You might be having a lot of it, but these women who are like, I enjoy my body, I enjoy sex. These are very confident women who were raised to like themselves, to love themselves. So say that 900 more times. That exactly. Like women who are strong in their sexuality had probably really good parents. Yeah. Or some form of good parenting. It raised them to be
there are a lot
confident.
of ways to have families. So I want to open that up to being, it could be a grandparent, could be an uncle or an aunt or whatever. or whatever, but like you got that nurturing at a young age really well.
Yeah, to love yourself.
So I mean,
and to have
get it, girl.
confidence to ask for what you want.
Yes, which I always say, you don't get what you don't ask for.
Exactly.
Which is, frustrating for my husband, but whatever, it's fine. I want it all. Excuse me. So I'm almost done here. So she actually stopped recording after 1935, but one of her greatest talents was as a songwriter, and she copyrighted dozens of titles. Many of them were so original that other blues artists were forced to give her credit. Which what they usually do is they create like a matcher imitation, but was changed enough that they wouldn't have to give her the rights, but they couldn't do that with her stuff. She had to get that credit.
Really?
I know, right?
Smart businesswoman.
Yes. Like she's smart. I don't even want to say she's rebellious. I get this feeling that she followed her heart. That's just me.
Well, she's notorious because she had agency and confidence and moved in the world like that.
Exactly.
It's like, how dare you, woman, not be beneath my heel and do as I say. Like, how dare you live your life on your own terms?
Right. Like, that's horrifying. A woman? How dare you? But I love her so much. And that's the thing. Like that's my thing with this show, even like our show, is that like women have been doing this forever. Let's keep doing it.
Yeah.
Don't go in the box they put you in.
Do you know what she did after she stopped recording?
It says she managed her son's jazz group called this is so cute, Bogan's Birmingham Busters.
Oh, that is cute.
And then she moved to Los Angeles, and then she died in 1948 of coronary sclerosis.
Oh, what's that?
I feel like it's a heart thing, but
oh wow,
I'm not a doctor, so I don't
maybe
really know.
Maybe she stopped recording because of the traveling around.
Yeah, I
would imagine that touring's hard now, but back then it was probably brutal on people.
Yeah. And you wonder, like, how many doctors did you go to?
Yeah.
And as a Black woman in America, to trust a doctor is hard to do.
Yeah.
Which is,
even when you have money. I mean, so she lived 13 years after her last recording.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Good math, Lavetta.
And then you know what? We're forgetting something also. It's the depression.
Yeah.
I wonder if that had something to do with her stopping, and it was just too tough. So she went.
I wonder if she was. I wonder if she couldn't do it all, and she was trying to help her son. Like because she stopped recording and then she managed his group.
Yeah.
So she wanted to spend maybe some time with him.
Yeah.
But it was depression. She had him very young.
Yeah, that's true.
So in 2022, she was posthumously inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame. The citation notes that, quote, Bogan recorded some of the most memorable blues songs of the pre-World War II era, including some that were landmarks in blues and some that continue to sensationalize her reputation decades after her death.
Yeah, why is it taking all these women who were like pioneers in this field to be inducted into these organizations? And I bet you it's only happening after someone of influence today, rallied for this. It should be if you recorded some of the first blues hits, that should be automatic. Why is it 2022?
2022. It should have happened it
should have happened No, it should have happened as soon as they started those organizations. It's these are the originals. Like these are
But
the founders of this genre.
I gotta wonder, like, how many of them are there, right? There's gotta be
Exactly.
so much more than we even know.
Yep.
Because it was pervasive in society. That's why we know the blues. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
But it seemed like, let's say if I was going to start an organization on TV shows about sci-fi,
you would do that. That would be an organization you would start.
Gene Roddenberry's got to be like one of the first people because he started Star Trek. Like,
yeah,
like you know what I mean.
You don't get to him last. You get to him first.
You don't get to him 50 years from now. Like, I just. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I don't understand. And it could be, and it's also that is why it's important to preserve history because,
yes,
you know, obviously she was very popular then, but then 20 years later, you know, when things have moved on, like, do people still remember the name? You have like 15-year-olds who don't know that Queen Latifah used to be a rapper.
Oh, wait. No, I'm horrified. We have to fix that immediately.
No, but I'm just saying. So when they see her performing, they're like, oh, I didn't know she was also a rapper. You're like, because we were all alive 15 years ago. We're like,
child, get your information right.
But it's like, yeah, it's just so weird. So but again, if you are the person, which I get, you don't know everything, everybody's name or whatever, but if you are the person starting this organization and you're supposed to be an expert, right? So if you're starting the Blues Hall of Fame.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a good point. Well, listen.
And it's not like she was never recorded, right?
Can I throw out a theory?
What's a theory?
Do you remember the Broadway show from 500 years ago called Ain't Nothing But the Blues?
Vaguely.
It was really good. I saw it when I first moved to New York. I loved it. I bought the CD because I'm old. That's how long ago it was. But I would listen to it a lot. And I gotta say, it's mostly men.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna
because
go, with that.
Excuse me, because the recorders of history, right, dictate who gets recorded.
Yep.
Even though, because it's like you're saying, she recorded over 100-something records. Like,
within 2 years.
Like, so that's what I'm saying. Songs, like, there's no excuse. Like, you're obviously intentionally overlooking these women because it's one thing if she was never recorded, right?
But
never
she
recorded,
was super
and she only
recorded.
toured. Like, if she was only a touring act, then that's one thing. But she's recorded, so.
Listen, she is a woman singing about sex and prostitution. And probably they were trying to elevate the style, but that's kind of like trying to elevate. I'm gonna say Shakespeare.
But also the blues is all about that. Like, you know what I mean? So it's not like it's opera. It's like.
I know that and you know that, but I don't know. I have a feeling like, listen, girl, some of those lyrics I did not say. They were pretty raunchy, but people love them. They speak to the people and she did it beautifully. And that needs to go down in history.
And I'm sure she had records that were more presentable. And my point is that blues is juke joint music. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you don't know the history and the origins of something, then which white men will decide, this is what blues is. And it's like, no, blues is juke joint music. Do you know what a juke joint is? It's like some shack in the middle of like the country somewhere. Like it's backwoods, down home, DIY setup where people who work hard, migrant workers, laborers can blow off some steam and get their groove on. Right? They serve moonshine. Like that is what the blues is. So that's what I'm saying. I could see if it was a different kind of genre, then that would explain that they were put off by the intense sexual nature of it. But it's like, it's juke joint music.
But you think, it's just a guess. It's just very bizarre how 2022 cannot figure that out.
I think you're hitting on something. I think what happens is it's like I wanted to buy one of those old time record players with the with the needle, like those beautiful ones, and so you have to buy records that can play on those things. most of the stuff that you can find, like let's say a Billie Holiday original, or is owned by white people.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, why am I surprised?
It's
Why
hard
did I
to
sound
find
surprised?
it.
Sorry about that. Yeah, but
And so they're
Wow.
writing the history, you know, without really always I'm not saying all of them, but most of them probably don't really understand the cultural origins of Black music, right? And
Yeah.
so it's like, it's, you know, is it Johnny Lee Hooker? Is it Johnny Lee Hooker? I think, I could be getting that wrong. See, I know the women better than I know the men, but like, it takes like, sometimes it takes like a prominent white, artist, musical artist who grew up listening to these records. And again, society has moved on, and they're like, no, it's, for instance, James Brown. We all know James Brown is Godfather Soul, right? James Brown, huge success, like cultural icon. But guess who co-produced the feature film starring Chadwick Boseman, R.I.P., about James Brown? Co-produced it.
Who is
Mick
it?
Jagger.
Of course.
Because the Rolling Stones also, because all these like white British kids are over in England listening to like Black American music, and they're like, oh my God, what is this? Oh my God, what is this? Amazing.
Yeah.
So they grow up, they named their song The Rolling Stones after the Temptation song.
Oh shit.
Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Oh my God. Yes, you're right. Oh my God.
So like, that's what I'm saying. Like, and that is a shame because, and these are like not even Americans, you know, thank God for them. You know, they're coming in like the Beatles, like they're like, oh my God, the Beatles, but the Beatles were trying to do like soul music. They're trying to do their version of it. And then they, but then they found their own kind of sound.
I didn't recognize that as soul music, but okay.
Like, well, if you listen to Love Me Do, I'm like, they're obviously trying to do like a blues inspired thing. And it's like, it's cute. But, you know, so my point is that it's the people who have the power and the access dictate who we remember, right? And that is unfortunate.
Okay, Lavetta, I have Love Me Do stuck in my head, and you're totally right. Oh my God. But not successful. I mean, like, listen, I love the song. It's cute. It's good. It's a good song. But that's what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
Listen, the reason that people don't understand the origins is because they didn't look.
Yeah. Well, nowadays we have the internet, and I have to say it used to be more difficult to find stuff, and you know, because you would have to have access to it in the library. That's why libraries are important. Or microfiche. You know, you'd have to have access to it, or live in a big city like, excuse me, New York or Chicago that has like, you know, access to archival materials or sources. But now we have the internet. So
did you ever go to, before internet was so big, there's the Library of Performing Arts at Juilliard? You can go. Did you ever
go?
I spent hours.
And that's what I mean. Like, you used to have to be physically in a place that had these things. And so, but also you ever remember something from your childhood and you're like, am I the only one who remembers that? What was I was on Twitter and somebody says, am I the only one who remembers a show? And it was just like a show that was on 6 or 7 years ago. There's a show, because you know the show Last of Us is out with the young girl. So somebody posted like a show that was on Fox just like 6 or 7 years ago, and they were like, was it even that? Yeah, it's probably like 6 or 7 years ago, and they were like, am I the only one who remembers that this show was on for a season? And it was a similar story, but it's obviously, you know, it was on Fox, so it has a different tone to it. But it was starring a young Black girl. In fact, one of the girls who played one of the Venus sisters in the King Richard movie.
What's the name of the show?
Oh God, I can't think of it.
You were afraid I was going to ask that question. Right?
Yeah, and it's one of the guys from what's that show with Mario Lopez when he was younger?
Oh, Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell. Who was the white guy?
Paul Gossamer. Paul.
Yeah, I think it was starring him.
He's a good actor.
Wait a minute, no.
Like I've seen, you're looking it up, aren't you?
Yeah, Saved by the Bell, because we have the internet now.
Oh, who's she?
I think it's Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Yes.
So Mark Paul Gosler. He was in the show, and the show was called The Passage.
Oh my God, I remember that.
It came out actually 2019, so not even that long ago.
Oh my God, that's 4 years ago.
And people are like,
I did math. Aren't you proud?
yeah. And like, people are like, am I the only person that remembers this show? And it's like, no. So
there are shows like that happen sometimes where you're just like, was it a fever dream? And I'll like look it up.
I know.
It was not a fever dream.
It's like, I feel like Xena Warrior Princess was like that. Or actually, the show VIP. Do you remember VIP? Pamela Anderson's show? I used to love that show.
I did not watch that show.
It was so good. It was so campy. Like, when you watch that show, you're like, oh, Pam knows exactly what her persona is. Like,
okay.
Like, they were like they were like a bodyguard or like, I think a security guard company, but everybody's like really hot. It's like really ridiculous.
Okay. I never watched it, but I'm remembering the commercials now. Yeah.
It's really cute. It's really like, you're like, why is she dressed like that? And I remember I used to love the girl. I kind of had like a girl crush on the one girl with the dark, short hair.
Okay.
She's so cute. Anyway, but like that show, like, I remember VIP. Does no one else remember VIP? But yeah, I love that show.
Hit us up if you remember VIP. Lavetta needs a friend. I cannot do that for you. Were they baking at any point on the show?
No.
Okay,
it's
then I
all
did not
like,
watch it.
it's ridiculous. I loved it so much. Is that it for
that is it? Yes. I mean, you know, I researched what I could find. I wish there was more about her. I had 3 sources, but I just, you know, that is, I mean, I just feel like we need to know that she was there, that she started it. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's awesome.
Yeah.
I just
got my vote. I mean,
I wish she lived a longer life. I think
Lucille Bogan, aka Bessie Jackson.
Bessie Jackson.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. Now, my Notorious Woman this week is very different.
Okay.
I'm getting back to my roots.
Oh my.
To the stuff I love.
Oh, I'm scared. What'd she do? What did she do, Lavetta?
I'm gonna get to it. Okay. So my Notorious Woman this week is a woman by the name of Judy Moran. Do you know who that is?
No.
Okay. Oh, good. So it's going to be good. This one's kind of short too.
Okay.
Now, so my sources today come from numerous places, but one from an author by the name of Andrew Rule, Rule. He wrote a book called Underbelly, The Gangland War.
Okay.
Also AdelaideNow.com.au, Australia. Also there.com.au. There's an article written by writer Asian Low, I'm having here. Oh, is that right? Adrian. I think it's Adrian Low.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I think that spell correct changed it because I was like, no. So it's Adrian Low.
Okay.
And then Wikipedia, and then several news reports from that I found on YouTube. So old YouTube videos. So okay.
Okay.
So Judy Moran was born Judith Marianne Brooks on December 18, 1944 in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, which is Southeast Australia. Now, in 1963, at the age of 19, she married a man called Leslie Johnny Cole. He was believed to be the muscle and gunman for Melbourne criminal gang. So these are like criminal gang people, my kind of people. Not to live with, but to.
No, I would not move in. No.
Yeah. In 1964, a year after they were married, the couple, so Judy has married John, Leslie John Cole. They called him Johnny. They married and they had a son named Mark.
Okay.
So, but 2 years later in 1966.
So they're procreating. Cool.
Yes. Right away. You know, young, hot-blooded.
Okay.
2 years later, though, Judy divorced Johnny and began a relationship with a man by the name of Louis Moran.
Okay.
Now, Judy and Moran had a son called Jason in 1967. So another year later, screwing like rabbits as young couples do, have a baby. Now, later, her first son, Mark, would also change his last name to Moran.
Oh.
Even though Louis is not his dad. But Louis basically raised them.
Okay.
So it's one of those things that they got together when, his parents got together. His mother and his stepfather got together when he was very young. So it's one of those things. And in all the reports, it says that she never married Louis, but she took on his last name, Moran. So it's kind of like a common law thing.
Okay.
Common law relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there are laws about like if you use a name enough, it becomes your name legally by default.
Oh, it could be that. Yeah, I'm not sure of the laws in Australia, especially in this part of Australia. But now, side note, her first husband, Johnny, was shot dead in 1982 in a Sydney drug-related shootout. So, yeah, these are gangster people.
Oh, God. Okay.
This is basically The Sopranos, but Australian edition.
Oh, my God. I'm kind of excited, honestly.
Yeah. Okay. So Judy and Louis are together from 1966 to about 1995.
Oh, okay.
So they were definitely together.
Yeah.
But they separated. So this is like 29 years later.
Okay.
They separate. And in 1999, so they separated in 95. And, it's all, I don't want to say incestuous, but it's all, if gang members hang out with other gang members. These are.
I mean, it's like the theater, Lavetta.
Exactly. It's true.
I get it.
Or like, what's that old time saying? Birds of a feather, right?
They flock together. Okay.
Always. So I would imagine they were together a long, long time. So they're still in each other's orbit. It's all, and of course they have a child. They have 2 children together because it sounds like Louis thought of Mark as his child. I mean, as his child. So yeah, his kid. It's his kid. Now, but 4 years later in 1999, Louis and a man named Carl Williams. So Carl is from, they're drug dealers. They're like, it says drug barons, but they're like, drug lords.
Listen, if I was a drug dealer, I too would want to be considered a drug baron.
Baron, yeah.
That is how you would refer to me. Okay.
It's also, I think, it's Australia, so, they're colonized by the English. So it's just like,
Oh, that's true, yeah.
And Australia has like gangster outlaws, like gangs. I mean, it was a prison colony.
I was going to say, that's going back to its roots.
Yeah, I mean, even Australians are like, yeah, we're a prison colony.
I mean,
it's like,
that's fine. I mean, just like know your history. You know what I'm saying? Like America is like, oh yeah, we fucked it up too. It's fine. Like, let's just do better.
It's like fine. How I feel about the South. Yeah, it's the South. I know. I know. So Louis and this man named Carl Williams. So they were basically 2 of the biggest like drug lords in the area. They weren't partners, but they weren't necessarily sworn enemies. It's kind of like they understood their territory. It's fine, right?
Okay.
But after they had a meeting and had a dispute over some drug money, over a deal, Louis shot Carl in the stomach.
Whoa. Oof. Ouch. Ooh.
But he didn't finish the job. This turned out to be a fatal mistake.
Oh, shit.
Because Carl's like, you gonna shoot me in the motherfucking stomach? It's on, bitch. It's on.
So he got shot in the stomach and he's okay?
He's okay.
Okay.
And Louis,
I would not be okay. Okay. I have enough stomach problems. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I get nervous stomach sometimes. So if I got shot in the stomach, okay. No.
Also, You remember how I said if I couldn't be like a monarch because I would just kill everybody?
Yes. You
This
say
is
that a
why.
lot.
This is why. You got to take them out. You got to finish the job. This is why I'm glad I'm not in this life, because you just got to take motherfuckers out. You got to take them out. Like, I mean, come on, right? So Carl's like, oh, really? What? Hold my beer, motherfucker.
Oh, shit.
Hold my Vegemite, motherfucker. Okay?
Oh, she went there.
Within months, what the newspapers will call the Melbourne Gangland killings,
Oh, my God. Okay.
most of the Moran family and a host of other underworld figures would die, including, so within months and over the next couple years. So
Okay.
Carl and his clique is like, it's on, motherfuckers. So over the next few years, a whole bunch of people started dying, and they were just like having shootouts in public. Like, it was on. It's just on, right?
Holy shit.
So, South Central ain't got nothing on these motherfuckers in Australia. So a whole bunch of people would die, including Mark, Judy's first son, in 2000.
Oh, no. Jesus.
Her second son, Jason, in 2003.
Oof.
And finally, Lewis himself in 2004.
Oh, my God.
Because according to Andrew Rule's book, Underbelly, Carl's like, I'm taking all you motherfuckers out. I'm not just I'm going to kill your mama. I'm going to kill your daddy. I'm going to kill your dog. I'm going to kill you, motherfucker. It's on.
I mean,
yeah.
Ooh, I mean, that's a lot. And the dog, I mean, I'm just saying, like.
I mean, I don't know about the dog. I
know
hope
you made that up, but like,
yeah, you know,
that's some vengeance, maybe unnecessarily so.
I mean, this
saying.
is why you got to finish the job. If you in this life, you got to be about that life. You got to finish the job. You cannot leave people. Even the Italian mob know that. You got to take them out. Listen.
If you shot someone in the stomach, you might as well. Like, you weren't like shooting in the foot. You know what I'm saying?
Right. A fellow drug dealer? Yeah, you got to take him out.
Yeah, like, I mean, you know the world you live in.
Yeah.
Embrace it. Or maybe, stop doing it. But like, maybe,
I mean,
stop risking your family.
In for a penny, in for a pound at this point. Like, fuck that. You got to take them out. So, so you might wonder, what is Judy doing all of this, right?
I am wondering that.
So it's one of those things. Is she Carmela Soprano? Willfully not knowing what's going on? Or is she's like Griselda Blanco, like, bitches, it's on, right?
Right.
I'm all in this. So it's not really clear at this point, right? Even though authorities are like, oh yeah, she's definitely in the mix of it, but it's not really clear. You never know, because these organizations tend to be very sexist, so even if a woman, you kind of have to be, when we're going to do Griselda Blanco one day, but you kind of have to be like Griselda, like a queen bitch, like to the nth degree, like take no motherfucking prisoners, right?
Yeah, if you're going to do it, you got to do it, If
you're going to do it, you got to do it. But sometimes it's hard if you come in, if you're always the lady or the girlfriend, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The fact that her and Lewis never officially married, I don't know, that you can take that as you want. But so it's really kind of hard to tell exactly what throughout these years from like 66 to 95, like what her role was. But she had to know what was going on, obviously, because people, and especially since, her two sons had died.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And also after that happens, that can change you, I would imagine.
Listen, whatever happened before, she's fucking pissed now. Yeah. Like, don't fuck with my babies is what I would say. Yeah. Yeah, now, so I guess she's angry.
Yeah. And also, according to authorities, they say that she not only knew what was going on, she was like in the thick of it. So they're, according to them. So, and also they claim and they suspect that after the death of both her sons and her second husband, who was still running it. So Lewis was basically the head of this, of the Moran family, basically.
Okay.
But they say that after that, she became a little bit even more involved, even though his brother, Des Tuppence Moran, so they called him Tuppence. And
that is so Mary Poppins.
I know.
That is so Tuppence a bag. Sorry, feed the birds. Anyways, go on.
So after Lewis was killed, she became more involved, but Des basically became the head, as he's our brother-in-law, so he's the head.
Okay.
But so when Lewis died, obviously, even though they were not still together, he obviously left money to provide for her.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so when Des took over, he was still, sending monthly payments, covering everything. This is why you do illegal shit, for the money. It's always for the money.
Exactly.
And so he did that for a couple of years, but after a while he stopped doing that. And we're not really sure why he stopped doing that. But then she started suspecting that he had swindled her out of what was rightfully hers from Lewis.
Okay.
So he stopped playing. So so when he stopped, she kind of figured, oh, this motherfucker not only stopped giving me money, but also he probably took stuff that was rightfully mine from when Lewis died.
Okay.
So according to Andrew Rule, he thinks that she confronted Des and they had an argument where he slapped her.
Oh.
He hit
her.
I
don't slap.
don't know if he just slapped her, but he hit her.
Okay.
So again, violent people, of course.
Yeah.
So Judy's like, oh, really, motherfucker?
Okay.
Oh, I see. Okay. So in 2009,
okay.
Des Moran was shot and killed while walking outside of a deli during lunchtime.
Okay. I'm laughing, but shouldn't probably be laughing, but it's too late.
Yeah.
I think I know what happened.
Authorities said that Judy, along with a man named Jeffrey Amore and a man named Michael Ferrugia, I think I'm saying that right, Ferrugia, drove in the car to the area. Jeffrey and Michael got out, followed Des as he was walking down the street, and shot him.
Damn.
Right? Now, you would say, how do they know this? Well, she's a crime family. They're always under surveillance.
Oh, right.
So the cops had her under surveillance, probably wiretapping, all kinds of stuff, right? So they drive off. She gets rid of the car.
They probably have a whole department for her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because since 99, all hell has broken loose. It's one thing about drugs and stuff, but they literally were like shooting people in broad daylight. Like it's a civil war between factions. And the cops are like, okay.
Crazy.
Yeah. So it kind of reminds me of like Miami in the 80s. Like, there's just drive-bys, just out in the open. But this was like 2000. So they had her under surveillance. So she was walking back home and they arrested her, Judy, along with another woman named Suzanne Kane. Now, she's
just walking back home. She's just walking in the streets back home, being like,
well, she's been in this life forever.
My day. I know. Yeah. It's just crazy.
I mean, in her defense, if I was part of this life, that motherfucker have to die. I wouldn't have done it. I would have just poisoned his ass.
I know.
I mean, I feel like these people are kind of dramatic because to shoot somebody in broad daylight, it's like there's better ways to off a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like
smarter ways. She's just walking home like it's a Tuesday, no bigs.
Yeah. So they arrested her along with a woman named Suzanne Kane. Now, Suzanne was Jeffrey Amore's partner.
Okay.
And her and Judy's deceased son's Mark's sister-in-law.
Okay.
So they're all family. It's all family.
That's exhausting. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. the next day, Jeffrey and Michael, so Moore and Ferrugia, were also arrested.
Okay. I was wondering what took so long for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
A few days later, this happened really, really quickly after the shooting. A few days later on June. So Des is shot on the 15th of June, 2009.
Okay.
On June 17th, Judy and Suzanne appear in court.
Oh, that is very fast.
But bail was denied on the grounds that their access to weapons represented a danger to the community. So they were reprimanded into custody. And they were set to appear in court on September 9th.
Okay.
So a few months later.
Yeah.
Now, later that night, while she was in custody, back at Judy's home, a fire was started.
What?
Authorities think it was to cover up the evidence that was in the home.
Oh, totally. That's exactly what happened. I'm sure of it. And I don't know anything. Yeah. But I'm going to say I'm sure of it anyways.
Yeah.
That's totally.
So on September 18th, 2009, Amor, so Jeffrey Amor, he faced murder charges. And he was reprimanded on September. So the next day, on June 7th, 18th, 2009, I'm sorry. Amor. So Judy and Suzanne, and then the next day, Amor and Ferrugia were arrested. So Amor he was reprimanded as well as like Judy and Suzanne. But Ferrugia was arrested and he was later released without charge. Oh. Turns out, because and I'll get to that in a while, he ended up serving about 4 years. And then Amor would later plead guilty and be sentenced to 26 years in jail with a minimum of 21.
Yeah, stop with the gun violence, you guys. It's not worth it. That sounds terrible to me.
Now,
I watched like a lot of Orange is the New Black, and I'm very clear that I do not want to go to prison.
Yeah.
Like,
no, girl.
If I wasn't sure, now I'm sure. Cool.
I heard that. Now, Suzanne, when they first approached her and they arrested her and they were asking her questions, she was like, I don't know nothing by nothing. I see no evil. I hear no evil. But later, Suzanne pleaded guilty to the charge of accessory after the fact. Okay. She was later charged with that, but she took a plea and was sentenced to just 2 years. It's because she knew about it. So she wasn't there. She knew about it.
And she could have told the authorities and didn't, or something like that.
Yeah, and they all conspired and like.
Right. Okay.
Now, Ferrugia, he took a deal because he testified for the prosecution.
Oh. What? Okay.
And he stated in court that he thought that Amor told him to come along with he and Judy in the car, and he thought that they were just going to go to collect a debt. So he's thinking he's like a low level, like, we're going to collect a debt, right?
Okay.
So Judy parks. He and Amor get out of the car, but when they get out of the car, Amor pulls out a wig out of his pocket.
Oh, shit. This is amazing. I would watch this movie. Go on.
This sounds like the most like Raised in Arizona bullshit I've ever like, should you put on the wig before you get out of the car, motherfucker?
Before you get, so that they don't see you putting the wig on. Anyways, it's too late.
So when I heard this, I was like, okay, this is terrible and horrific, but this is also hilarious.
Hilarious. So, I would watch this all day. Okay.
Oh my God. So Ferrugia, so this is Ferrugia's testimony. So in court, and he's like, Jeffrey pulls out a wig, puts it on. And so he's starting to trail behind Amor. Then he heard 2 loud bangs, which sounded like gunshots. Okay. And then he said he saw 2 people lying on the ground in a shop. Oh, and then he followed Jeffrey Amor, who ran off. They both got into the car being driven by Judy, who told them to keep their heads down. And he said, quote, she was in control. That's when I said to Jeff, what the fuck just happened? And so, end quote. So he goes on to say in court, that Judy then said to Jeffrey Amore, quote, "Did you get him?" And then Jeffrey said back, "Yeah, no worries, I got him." And she then said, "Well done," and started patting him on his back.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he said that Amore actually got mad at him and was yelling at him like, "You fucked up. You should have stayed in the car." And Judy then threatened him to keep his mouth shut. So this is what Ferrugia is testifying in court.
If I were Ferrugia, I would do that, and then I would change my name and identity and hide forever.
I mean, I don't quite buy his story of like, I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought we were just getting that. That sounds a little suspect to me. Like,
well, here's what I'm going to say. Why are they your friends if you are so innocent? You know?
But then again, the fact that Amore took out the wig.
Yeah.
When they get out of the car, they didn't plan this.
They're definitely stupid.
They didn't plan this too well.
No, they did not.
First of all, shoot a motherfucker at night. Just do the drive-by, right? Duh. Like, why are you getting out in broad daylight at lunchtime?
Trying to get your wig straight. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes they connect and you have to like undo it, you know, because it like they're tying together because like hair. So really, you have to like, you know.
And you know it's a party.
Watching you.
It's a Party City wig, like a Halloween wig. You know.
You know it's pink. You know it's pink.
It's like,
oh my God.
It's like, okay, guys. So this is a court, but during the investigation, police discovered. So remember how I was telling you that Judy's house was caught on fire?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, so after they arrested her, police discovered a rifle in an abandoned car and white gloves that Judy was allegedly seen wearing while driving the car, and the car was just discarded in bushes nearby. Okay. In the home.
They can find that.
Girl, they did not plan this well. Now, in Judy's home, in a safe, they found 3 handguns.
Okay.
Stolen the license plate that was on the car is a stolen Victorian license plate.
Okay.
A wig and clothing, which police claim matches witnesses' description of the clothing worn by the gunman.
God. They are stupid. Okay.
I don't know. So in court, Judy now, again, she's in her 60s at this point. She shows up in a wheelchair. Oh. She's like, "Oh Lordy, I'm sickly. I'm about to die." I don't know.
I don't remember things like I did back when I was younger. I'm 92 in my heart.
It's like, okay, and she presented herself as like, "Oh, I'm like a retired school teacher." I get it. You go into court, you wear a suit, you wear like, you know, modest clothing, not like the furs and the diamonds and the bad bitch stuff she used to wearing.
I'm so shy. I'm sorry. I'm not used to talking to people. I'm very to myself.
Yeah,
I don't speak English. What?
I know. Yeah, I know. So in court, though, no like leopard prints for her. She's just like, as a school. Why has everybody become like Southern and from like the Civil War? But I can't do a terrible. I'm not going to attempt to do an Australian accent. I am not going to do that. I don't even know how to do it. But
I don't want to offend an entire continent.
Yeah,
so
I don't even know how to do it.
Either.
But she basically was like, "I don't know nothing about nothing. I'm just a poor old lady." But then in court, the prosecution played surveillance recordings from her.
Oh, shit.
Where she probably was like, "Motherfuckers, and they're like, "This you?"
She's like, "I can't hear anymore because I'm so old."
Yep. I'm just a grandmother who's lost her 2 children. I don't know anything about drugs, Mama.
Is that you, Mama?
Judy's like, listen, I get it. I do the same motherfucking thing. I be blind like Bill Cosby, not be able to walk like Harvey Weinstein. Listen. This also reminds me of like when Tupac back in the day got shot and he went to court for rape or attempted rape, or this Negro showed up in a wheelchair like, Your Honor,
I don't remember that.
I got shot. I was like, ain't you 22? Why you acting like an old man?
22.
Your Honor. I get it. I do the same exact motherfucking thing.
I don't have
I would have dementia.
My legs, Your Honor.
Shoot, if I was in my 60s, I'd be like, I got dementia. Where am I? Like you say, Mama, is that you, Mama? Is this over the rainbow?
I got the shakes.
I got the shakes, of course. But the jury's like, okay, we're not buying this. So after they wrapped, the jury deliberated for 7 days. So they did take some time. But on March 9th, 2011, a jury found the 66-year-old Judy Moran guilty of murdering Des Moran. And she was later sentenced to 26 years in jail.
Whoa.
With a minimum of 21.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, because she was the only one that fought it, pretty much.
Okay, everyone else was like,
it's like, yeah. And like I said, Suzanne had gotten 2 years jail, and most of her sentence was suspended.
Oh, really?
But basically Judy and Georgia Moore, because George did the shooting. He was the gunman.
Oh, yeah.
And Judy, because she was like, I don't know nothing. I'm a throw the dice and see what's gonna happen.
I mean, why not?
Yeah. And so, she went to jail for, she was sentenced to 26 years. Now, of course, this is a hilarious thing hilarious and like serious. Like there's two versions of this, right? There's like the hardcore, like.
You could literally make two different movies.
Yeah.
With the same story.
Yeah. But you know what would be good? And I'm sure they've already done a version of it. A good version of this would be like what they did for the I, Tonya movie. So like it's a serious but like ridiculous movie. Like a ridiculous movie. Ridiculous characters.
Let's make ridiculous money and then make this movie.
Yeah. Now she has been portrayed by a woman named Caroline Gilmer in a 2008 TV series called Underbelly.
Okay, so we're too late for that movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. In 2014, she was played by Deborah Byrne in the miniseries Fat Tony and Company. Okay. And then apparently there's another project from 2017 called Underbelly Files, Chopper. Oh. So, because obviously this is Australian history. So obviously they've done things about this ridiculous story. Because I'm just so shocked about like why it wasn't planned better.
I mean, it's a farce. If you know what I mean, like I don't know. Like it makes no sense. Like is she still in jail? No, she's out of jail.
No. 26 years with a minimum of 21.
You do know I can't do math. When
This was 2011.
I can't do math. Obviously, she's still in jail. Okay.
She, at first she was making a lot of, and she's 78 now. She's making, she was trying to, they had more contact about her. Like, you had more news.
Right.
But after a while, people just move on, Yeah.
Yeah.
So she, hold on. She's still alive and she is.
Okay. She's probably running that prison,
She probably is running the prison.
Yes.
I hope she's doing a better job of running the prison than she did in planning this hit.
I hope there's like some more forethought before action,
It's
like
this
was not.
It's just, again, it reminds me of like Raising Arizona, like, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. That movie is ridiculous.
I should really watch it.
Have you never seen Raising Arizona?
I have not, but
Miriam.
I know.
Especially now that you're a mother.
I know.
It is ridiculous because it's all about Holly Hunter wants a baby. She's like, you better go and get me a baby.
And he like takes a baby, right? That's all I know. But I guess then the reality of having a baby.
It is my favorite Nicolas Cage performance, other than that and Moonstruck. Like that's when
Moonstruck.
That's when like Nicolas Cage was like amazing. I don't really like his later stuff, but like
no, Peggy Sue Got Married is my favorite.
That one too. That's a good one too. That and then my boy John Goodman's in it. Like, come on. It is like
all right.
Hilarious. It is ridiculous. So yeah, I'm a Coen Brothers fan. I usually like their wacky stuff and even their more serious stuff. But yeah, Raising Arizona is a good watch.
Okay.
Like it's a good watch.
Okay,
it's
I'll get on it. Okay.
Yeah, so but that is my notorious woman for today, Judy Moran of Australia.
Thank you so much for her. She's fascinating. You gotta wonder, and we'll never know. Like, what were you thinking?
We know. I think, I think it may have been one of those things because it was planned so poorly. I wonder if she just didn't really, but then again, they don't seem like the kind of like, they're drug dealers, right? So, and they are like just sort of violent and non-thinking. The fact that there's like a gang war where they're shooting each other in like the public in 2000.
It makes me think of Breaking Bad and some of the things that it's been a long time since I've seen it, but like there were some bad ideas that went poorly,
Well, it makes me think of like they're behaving like this is Chicago 1930s when Al Capone, right? This is like, but like the neighbors, obviously they have money, so they live in nice neighborhoods. And so when the fire, one of the reports I watched, one of the news reports, when the fire happened at her house, they were talking to one of the neighbors and they were like, this is a nice neighborhood. Like, this is so weird. Like
that doesn't happen here.
So I don't know. I mean, it's that sort of thing where you can take the ratchetness, you can take the person out of the ratchet hood, but you can't take the hood out of the ratchet person.
Yeah.
Like, this is so poorly planned. like I said, the wig, it's like
the wig scene is my favorite scene. I'm replaying it in my head over and over again. It is hilarious.
Did they have fake mustaches?
Right?
What is and goggles, like
the glasses with the nose,
I know. It kind of reminds me of like people were saying like, the show You, which you watched the beginning.
Yeah.
So this season people were like, they were like, why does Joe just put on a hat to like hide from people as he's lurking in the background? It's like, boy, we can see you right there. like you ain't fooling nobody.
You're that tall man, but is now wearing a hat. That's what I see.
It's like, I don't know. But yeah, Lord. It's, I mean, obviously we're not making light of murder and like.
No, murder is bad. Guns are bad. Ban them all. That's what I feel. But this is a ridiculous
I didn't even think about that. This is Australia. This is not America. Because I'm like, gun battle. That makes sense, America. But this is Australia. I wonder.
They later banned all guns. Good job.
Yeah.
And you know what worked? Banning all guns. That's,
this was probably a reason too. Like they're just shooting people in broad daylight. That would explain why they're just like, we got guns.
I mean, that shit happens in America too. I mean,
no, that's what I mean. Like, I guess I wonder.
But we seem to be okay with it, which is like,
I wonder how prevalent gun culture is there before this time and then after this time. You know what I mean? Like guns have always been part of American society, like the Old West. And like I said, all the gangsters in the 30s who would have these shootouts. And then the 80s in Miami.
Oh, God. Yeah.
So
I remember that.
So that does sound like an American thing, but this is Australia. So I just wonder if any of our Australian listeners can let us know the context in which this was happening in 2000. So.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to hear.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'm ready to move to Australia because they fixed some laws that they could fix here. How do I feel? I feel like they should fix laws. That's how I feel.
And they don't have major shootouts every other day. So
yeah, that must be nice.
Must be nice. Well,
all right.
that wraps it up for another episode of Notorious Women Podcast. Guys, remember to follow us on all the things. Also, give us a 5-star review. Subscribe. Copy the link of the podcast, send it to your friends, send it to your family. We also have a Patreon now. Our Patreon is up if you want to help us out, so we can bring you more content, have more time, get an editor, get like
well, we have some editing.
We have an editor, like a social media person, or if you just want to help out and support the show, you can go to patreon.com/Notorious Women. That's patreon.com/Notorious Women. Again, that's patreon.com.
Yes.
Notorious Women.
I mean, with that help, we could just do more. Remember we were talking about, like, we have a lot of ideas.
Yes, a lot of ideas, a lot of opinions. It's
what? No, I'm just here in the corner listening. I'm just kidding. I have so many opinions.
And do you want to tell them where they can reach us? Also,
I do.
In addition to going to iTunes. Yeah, please leave a review on iTunes. That really helps us.
Yeah.
Or wherever you can leave a review, like if it's on Spotify or podcast and like.
If it's too much, just click the 5 stars. Yeah. You could do that. That would be really helpful, actually.
You can click 5 stars and even put in the description 5 stars.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
That's fine. Yeah. I mean, you can also say how pretty and intelligent and capable we are.
You could just tell me all the beautiful things about me.
Yeah.
But you don't have to.
Yeah, just do 5 stars. That's fine.
And you can come to our Instagram. Come join us at our Instagram. It's an interesting place to be. It's fun. It's Notorious Women Podcast on Instagram. It's pretty simple. And we also have an email. So if you want to just email us, we're notoriouswmpod@gmail.com. And if you ever have like more information about people we talk about, we can always on a later episode be like, hey, so-and-so reached out and told us cool things. We can always update things.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much again for joining us here on Notorious Women Podcast. And we will see you next week.
That's right. Bye.
Bye-bye.